Raw denim isn't just jeans. It's a conversation, and if you can't really speak it, you're missing half the culture. These two boots are the same model, but only one tells a story, and by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why, you'll also know how to craft that story yourself, and sound fluent doing it. As everyone is talking about Red Wing boots and selvage jeans, but no one's teaching anyone how to talk about them, this is where I come in. I'm a language and communication trainer and work with adults. So I work with adults who are seeking to communicate more effectively in a particular domain or setting. So whether you're wearing your first pair of Mocs or saving for some samurai jeans, I'll teach you the words, phrases, and the language that reflects the mindset that you would need to be able to sound like someone who would just fit in this community, if that's something you're looking for. Let's go. All right, quiz time. What kind of fashion focuses on tradition and craftsmanship? Heritage, workwear, or rugged? Next question. Which fashion style uses clothing originally made for labor? Heritage, workwear, or rugged? And finally, what fashion style combines history, workwear, and rebellious style? Heritage, workwear, or rugged? Alright, let's discuss the answers. So heritage is fashion that focuses on tradition and craftsmanship. Workwear uses clothes originally made for labor. And rugged style is a combination of history, workwear, and it results in a rebellious style. Once upon a time, there was a regular man who appreciated well-made clothing. He owned Red Wing boots, selvage denim, sturdy flannels, and even a canvas jacket, but he rarely wore them. Every day he reached for the same exact basics: sneakers, hoodies, old jeans. Not because they were better, but because wearing his heritage gear felt like he was trying to be something and someone that he wasn't. But one day he looked at his closet and thought, why am I letting these gray pieces collect dust? It doesn't make any sense. I bought them because they are built to last, not because I wanted to pretend like I work in a cabin. And because of that, he started rethinking how he wore them. Not as a look, but as everyday clothing. He paired his Red Wings with a plain tee and worn-in jeans, threw a flannel over another item, and not to play a part, but to stay warm. And it sort of worked for him. And because of that, the pressure to dress the part disappeared. The clothes felt like his, not some costume. And he realized that it wasn't about dressing like a lumberjack. It was about wearing gear made for real life. And because of that, he wore his boots more often. The denim softened and faded with use. His jacket picked up creases, scuffs, and stories, and he started to look more like himself. Someone grounded, capable, intentional, not overly styled. Until finally, getting dressed didn't feel like a decision. He had what he needed, and it worked, and he could just put it on. It wasn't flashy, just solid, simple, real. And ever since then, he's leaned into what he already owns, not to impress, not the cosplay, but because quality clothes more naturally will always look good. The storytelling framework that I've used has a three-part structure, and it starts with once upon a time, moving on into what happens on a regular basis, so every day, and then until a particular moment in time where something pivots, then a few reasons as to why that happened, until finally and moving on into the conclusion of the storyline. So that could be anything related to what would then work for the protagonist or main character, if you will. So that could be your story about how your style came to be, or what your decisions were in case that comes up in the community. You'll be able to construct and craft your own story at the end of this video, and you've got all of the language that you would need to be able to talk about it in detail at the level that would feel best for you. Alright, moving on then to vocabulary. In case you can't wait for the overview of the A1 to C2 level vocabulary, here's an overview of the most popular model items, so garments and types of boots, for example, and the descriptive language that would fit them best. First item is the 875 Moc Toe or Mocs, described as classic, white sole, heritage staple. Then the 8111, Iron Ranger or IRs, cap toe, rugged, long break-in. Over to blacksmith, versatile, no cap, no toe cap, and casual. Bagman, dressy and cult classic. Chelsea, slip-on, minimalist, and sleek. Over to Japanese raw denim, Ironheart, 634S, heavyweight, ultra durable, and motorcycle ready. Over to Samurai S17XX, high contrast fades, heavyweight and slubby texture. Pure Blue Japan, XX013, unique texture, slubby, and deep indigo. Words like slubby will be discussed at the end of this video, and you'll also be able to describe your own story in terms of how you would like to describe your own outfits. If that is something you would be into, stay until the end of the video. Over to vocabulary starting with A1, and at least the explanation of CEFR. What you need to know about CEFR, or the Common European Framework of Reference, is that this is basically a map of where an individual would be in terms of proficiency. In this case, we're zooming in on spoken proficiency because it's about storytelling and spoken communication. And you could basically see it as a map. So the CEFR is like a map, and I'm like a guide leading you through this. So the idea here is that you're just going to look at, okay, where would I possibly be at? And if you then look at the vocabulary, then you can also see, okay, is that actually right? Would I actually use this, or would I use something below or above? All right, so moving on then to A0, that's the lowest level, and C2 is the highest. So A0 can produce short phrases about themselves, giving basic personal information. A1 can produce simple, mainly isolated phrases about people and places. A2 can give a simple description or presentation of people, living and working conditions, but also daily routines, likes, dislikes, as a short series of simple phrases and sentences linked into a list. B1 can reasonably fluently sustain a straightforward description of a variety of subjects within his or her field of interest, presenting it as a linear sequence of points. B2 is divided into two parts, can give clear, detailed descriptions and presentations on a wide range of subjects related to his or her field of interest, expanding and supporting ideas with subsidiary points and relevant examples, but also can give clear, systematically developed descriptions and presentations with appropriate highlighting of significant points and relevant supporting detail. C1 can give clear, detailed descriptions and presentations on complex subjects, integrating sub-themes, developing particular points, and rounding off with an appropriate conclusion. And C2 can produce clear, smoothly flowing, well-structured speech with an effective logical structure which helps the recipient to notice and remember significant points. Over to vocabulary, starting with A1.
Boot, a type of shoe that covers the foot and part of the leg. Leather, material made from the skin of an animal. Shoe, a covering for the foot, typically made of leather. Wear, to have clothing, shoes, or accessories on your body. Fit, to be the right size or shape for someone or something. Sole, the bottom part of the foot or shoe. Foot, the part of the leg below the ankle. Size, how big or small something is. Style, a particular design or form of clothing. Shop, a place where you can buy goods. Care, the process of protecting or maintaining something. Patch, a piece of material used to cover a hole or reinforce a weak spot. Clean, to remove dirt or stain from something. Stitch, a loop of thread or yarn resulting from a single pass or movement. Repair, to fix or mend something that is broken or damaged. Design, the creation of a plan or convention for making an object or system. A2 Elementary, heritage, traditions, achievements, or beliefs that are part of the history of a group. Break-in, the process of making a garment comfortable by wearing it over time. Laces, strings or cords used for fastening shoes. Polish, a substance used to make something smooth and shiny. Comfortable, providing physical care and relaxation. Pair, two things of the same kind used together. Durable, able to withstand wear, pressure, or damage. Tough, strong and able to withstand rough use. Rugged, strong and designed to be used in rough conditions. Classic, judged over a period of time to be of the highest quality. Brand, a type of products manufactured by a particular company under a particular name. Logo, a symbol or a small design used by an organization to identify its products. Fabric, cloth, typically produced by weaving or knitting textile fibers. Garment, an item of clothing. Elastin, a highly elastic synthetic fabric. Jeans, trousers made from denim or other sturdy fabric. Treatment, the way something is processed or handled. Wash, to clean with water and typically soap or detergent. Pre-shrunk, fabric that has been shrunk before being made into a garment to prevent further shrinking. One wash, denim that has been washed once to remove shrinkage before sale. Weight, the heaviness of fabric, often measured in ounces per square yard. Stretch, to make something longer or wider without tearing or breaking. Shrink, to become smaller in size, especially after washing. Heavy, of great weight, difficult to lift or move.
B1 Intermediate. Patina, a surface appearance of something grown beautiful, especially with age or use. Resole, to replace the sole of a shoe. Traction, the grip of a tire on the road or a shoe on the ground. Welt, a strip of leather sewn between the sole and upper of a shoe for durability. Outsoles, the outmost layer of the sole of the shoe in direct contact with the ground. Craftsmanship, skill in a particular craft, emphasizing quality and detail. Rugged, strong and designed to be used in tough conditions. Workwear, clothing worn for work, especially heavy-duty or protective clothing. Selvage, the tightly woven edge of a fabric that prevents fraying. Fades, areas on denim where the color is lightened due to wear. Copper rough and tough, a type of leather with a distressed, rugged finish, my favorite. Versatile, able to adapt to many different functions or activities. Premium leather, high quality, often full grain leather, known for durability. Japanese denim, high quality denim, produced in Japan, known for craftsmanship. Chambray, a lightweight, plain weave fabric, often used for shirts. Flannel, a soft, warm fabric with a slightly napped finish. Female friendly. Heavyweight, describing a fabric with a high weight per square yard, typically above 14 ounces. Texture, the feel or appearance of a surface, especially regarding roughness or smoothness. Vintage style, clothing that imitates or is characteristic of a past era. Motorcycle gear, protective clothing and accessories worn by motorcyclists. Family run, managed and operated by family members. Moving on into bespoke fabric. Fabric made to order according to the customer's specification. Long-lasting, enduring, or having a long duration. Over-engineered, designed with more features or complexity than necessary, often for durability. Garment dye, a dyeing process where the entire garment is dyed rather than just the fabric. Crosshatch, a pattern of intersecting lines often seen in textured denim. Slasher dyeing, a continuous dyeing process for yarns used in denim. Pre-distressed, fabric that has been artificially aged to give that worn look. Fade competition, a contest where participants show the wear patterns of their jeans. Anti-fit, a loose fit that doesn't conform closely to the body. Fit, how well a piece of clothing conforms to the body. Anatomy, the structure of or parts of a body or garment. Moving on then to B2, upper intermediate. B2, upper intermediate. Goodyear-Welted, a type of shoe construction involving a strip of leather stitched to the shoe upper and sole for durability. Moc Toe, a shoe style with an extra piece of leather stitched over the toe for reinforcement. Moleskine, a type of rough but durable leather, often with a suede-like texture. Iron Ranger or IRs, a specific model of rugged cap-toe boots from Wet Wing. Stacked, referring to multiple layers, often in the context of heels or denim creases. Slip-on, footwear designed to be easily put on and taken off without laces. Full grain leather, the highest quality leather made from the top layer of the hide, known for its durability. Sanforized, fabric that has been pre-shrunk to reduce shrinkage during washing. Unsanforized, fabric that has not been pre-shrunk and will shrink significantly upon the first wash. Indigo, a deep blue dye traditionally used for color denim. Used to color denim. Loom state, denim that has not been washed or treated after weaving, retaining its raw form. Slub, irregular thickened parts of the yarn that create a textured fabric. Nep, small tufts of fiber in the yarn that create a textured vintage appearance. Rope dyeing, a method of dyeing yarns that leaves the core of the thread white, allowing for high contrast fades. Double stitching, a sewing technique where 2 rows of stitches are used for added strength. Chain stitching, a looping stitch that creates a chain-like pattern often seen on hems. Hand-dyed, fabric or leather that has been dyed by hand, often resulting in a unique color or variations. So unique color variations. Shadow fade, a subtle gradual fading pattern that develops over time. Leather conditioner, a cream or oil used to keep leather soft and prevent it from drying out. Rugged patina, the worn, age appearance that develops on leather over time. Love that. Custom makeups, custom designed versions of a shoe or boot, often produced in limited quantities. Tonal stitching, stitching that matches the color of the surrounding material. Limited run, a small production batch of product, often for special editions. High contrast fades, fading patterns with a strong difference between dark and light areas. Hand sewn, stitched by hand rather than by machine for a personalized touch. Tight-knit community, a closely connected group of people with shared interests. Bespoke fabric, custom-made fabrics created to the buyer's specific requirements. Wagyu leather patches made from high-quality marbled Japanese cowhide. Silver buttons made from or coated in silver, often used in premium denim. Japanese symbology, symbols or characters associated with Japanese culture and history. Production process, the series of steps involved in making a product. Twist effect, the natural twist that can occur in fabric due to the way it's woven. Raw denim, denim that hasn't been washed after dyeing, known for developing unique fades. Shrink to fit, denim that has been designed to shrink after the first wash for a customized fit. Moving on into C1 Advanced. C1 Advanced, triple stitching, a sewing method using 3 rows of stitching for maximum durability. Cup and Rough and Tough, a rugged, waxy leather known for its distressed finish and durability. Heritage staple, a classic timeless piece that forms the foundation of a heritage wardrobe. Workwear vibe, the distinctive style and appearance of clothing originally designed for manual labor. Minimalist design, a style characterized by simplicity, clean lines, and a lack of unnecessary detail. Break-in flexibility, the ability of a garment to become more comfortable and flexible over time. Selvage ID, the colored thread on the edge of selvage denim, indicating the mill or brand. Vintage cut, a style that replicates the fit and design of older clothing, often looser and higher rise. Fades with character, the unique wear patterns that develop on raw denim, reflecting the wearer's habits. Premium craftsmanship, high quality construction, emphasizing skill and attention to detail. Heirloom quality, built to last for generations, often with superior materials and construction. Hand stitched, Sewn by hand, often indicating superior craftsmanship. A limited edition, a small production run of the product, often with unique features. Collaboration release, a special edition product created by 2 or more brands working together. So a special edition product created by 2 or more brands working together, over-engineered, designed to exceed the normal requirements for durability or strength. Notice the earlier definition that was a little snarky. This one is the accurate one, but it's higher level, so there you go. High weight denim, 25 ounces or heavier. Extremely thick and heavy denim, often requiring a long break-in period, which can be a little uncomfortable. Shinoku era symbolism, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Japanese cultural symbols from this particular period, often used in denim branding. Small batch production, manufacturing in limited quantities, often to ensure higher quality. Notice how there are certain synonyms in this particular row. Moving on then to raw texture, the rough, unfinished feel of raw denim before it softens with wear. Artisan craftsmanship, skilled, handmade work, emphasizing traditional techniques. Climate consideration in production, the practice of factoring in environmental impact when manufacturing garments. Slasher dyeing, a continuous dyeing method used for high volume yarn production. Garment life cycle, the stages a piece of clothing goes through from production to end of life. Over to C2 levels, the highest possible level. Hang on for that. And finally, the highest level, C2 proficient user. Aesthetic balance, the visual harmony achieved in designed, balancing elements like color, shape, and texture. Break-in flexibility, the capacity of a material to become more comfortable and flexible with wear. Community identity, a shared sense of belonging within a group, often based on common interests. Leather conditioning, the process of treating leather to maintain its softness and prevent cracking. Cultural heritage, the tradition, values, and artifacts passed down through generations. Product longevity, the lifespan of a product, reflecting its durability and quality. Custom makeups, specially designed products created in limited quantities for a specific purpose or customer. Bespoke sizing, clothing or footwear tailored to precise measurements for a perfect fit. Tonal stitching, stitching that matches the color of surrounding fabric, creating a subtle look. Textile innovation, the development of new fabrics or textile technologies. Limited run, a small batch of production of a product often with unique features. Called favorite, a product with a passionate niche following. Artisan craftsmanship, handmade work, emphasizing traditional techniques and high quality materials. Raw texture, the coarse, unprocessed feel of materials before it's broken in. Japanese selvage, high quality denim woven on shuttle looms in Japan, known for durability. High contrast fades, dramatic fading patterns on denim with a strong light to dark contrast. Moving on then to loom state denim, unwashed, untreated denim with its purest form, and vintage machinery, older, often manually operated equipment used in traditional manufacturing. Ethical manufacturing, reproduction process that prioritizes fair labor practices and environmental responsibility. Complete production control, direct oversight of every single step in the manufacturing process, from raw materials to finished products. Experimental fabric design, the creation of new textiles using unconventional methods or materials. Over-engineered garments, clothing designed with more strength and durability than typically required. Cotton cultivation, the process of growing cotton for textile production. And finally, the anatomy of jeans, the structural elements and design features of jeans. Now that you've listened to all the vocabulary offered in this video, from A1 basic user to C2 proficient user in English, I'd like to remind you of the storytelling method that I mentioned earlier, and I'd like to challenge you to this particular task. So imagine you want to describe your own outfit or your own personalized journey towards your style, or the challenges that you faced while styling yourself. I'd like you to just use the right vocabulary that was offered in this video more specifically, so more precisely I mean, so that you're able to level up your communication skills and are able to connect ultimately better with others who are in this community, which is the purpose of this, whether that's online or in store. The idea here is to start communicating more effectively about what it is that you think is interesting within this particular scene. All right, hope this helps. If you liked it, please give it a like and send it to someone who might benefit from it. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your attention and for sticking until the end of this particular video, and wishing you nothing but the best. All right, have a good one. Bye for now.